film was wonderfully embraced in England, and throughout much of the rest of the world, it was a huge hit. But in America, there was somewhat of a weird sense that was shifting between some of the more fantastical things of the 70s and the more serious sci-fi nature that would come about through Star Wars influence in the 1980s. And where things were going was different than where Flash Gordon was. Flash Gordon has a decidedly European flavor to it.
Pick that up, would you?
Flash Gordon, in so many ways, is a bit of a farce.
Ming is the enemy of every creature on Mongo. Let's all team up and fight him.
Lower them into the swamp.
Mike Hodges intended the film to be camp. He really didn't think of this as being the most serious production, like that he was somehow giving George Lucas a run for his money. The movie has much more of a tongue-in-cheek aspect of it. The fact that the special effects are so brightly colorful, the environments, the ships, nothing is so 100% real, but in a way it transports you like a great song to somewhere you've never been before. So unlike a film where everything feels like, oh, that's space and you're in this environment, in this world, it feels more like you've gone into somewhere entirely different than you know. The film was camp entirely in the same way as the Batman TV show was camp. So for young kids watching it, you don't pick up on those details. You're just amazed by how much fun it is to have these characters in costume, the props they have, the conflict of the good guys and bad guys. You know, it's liquid gold.
Any final request?
Yes. Let me see Dale right away.
Oh dear. How pathetic.
I've probably more as an adult run into more people who have been very snooty about whether or not they thought it was a quality production or looked down on me for sharing my exuberance about the film. And I just think you're not getting it.
That must be one hell of a planet you men come from! Not too bad.
There's a lot of room for a broad spectrum of fun integrated with your fantasy. And Flash Gordon has that tongue-in-cheek, but not, to my feeling, to any detriment of it. It was the right way to interpret the material.
Tell me more about this man Houdini.
As a young boy, I didn't recognize the elements of camp. I just thought, why isn't Star Wars more like this?
Flash, I love you! But we only have 14 hours to save the Earth! Flash!
It is such a 70s movie that's just getting to be at the very dawning of the new decade of the 80s, and it has so many qualities that are true to the previous era that had, say, maybe a decadence to the 70s that comes through in the film.
Drink this.
What is it?
It has no name. Many brave men died to bring it here from the galaxy of pleasure.
Just like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, there's a lot of aspects of how things are not really selling themselves for the broad spectrum of maybe middle America, that it has a little bit more eccentricity to it.
Do you, Ming the Merciless, ruler of the universe, take this earthling, Dale Arden, to be your empress of the hour?
Of the hour, yes.
Do you promise to use her as you will?
Certainly.
There's a lot of implication of bizarre sexuality, and Ming like massaging the body of Dale from afar.
Did you ever see such response? No, truly.
There's fetishism, sexual innuendo.
Gently, darling. It's extremely sensitive. Like me.
Most of the costumes being this high-gloss black leather and latex and near-naked clothing. The hero himself is running around wearing a tank top throughout most of the film and has his moments of being pretty close to naked. He is the object of the women's affection in the film.
I like you a lot.
And for any guys watching it, you'd think, well, I want to be that guy. I want to be that handsome that everybody's falling over themselves to have him, to control him, or to kill him.
You really prefer death to a kingdom? I'm disappointed. I'd much rather see you on my side.
I would think I've seen Flash Gordon more than most people ever would likely have seen it, unless you worked on the film and had to edit it. But over the last 25 years, I've watched it so many dozens of times that, you know, have I crossed 100? I don't know, I haven't kept a chart, but definitely it's one of those things that I can go a certain amount of time, and when putting it on again, it's just as fresh as it was, and just still there's more things that jump out at me that make me go, oh yeah, look at that little thing. As of the last couple of years now, things have finally come together with the Flash Gordon movie and me sort of intersecting our lives. I'm involved with making the Flash Gordon toys as an art director, where I'm making sure the likenesses are matching and the costume designs and details are right. And in designing a DVD cover for Flash Gordon, I've been really just living the dream of how is this thing that had such a profound impact on a 10-year-old now allowing a 37-year-old to actually interact with it. And it's magical. To get a chance to illustrate anything related to Flash Gordon, that's phenomenally exciting. For me, the film is a combination of all the things that I love the most. It's my favorite lead hero, my favorite band doing the soundtrack, some of my favorite side actors like Dalton and Sadao. All these things that shouldn't have work so magically. And the film ends with the greatest moment in cinematic history, where the director, and apparently from what I've heard, no one else knew how to end the film. You got this point now where they've won, they've killed Ming, and Sam Jones came up with the idea of just jumping up into the screen as he's been told that the Earth's been saved.
You've saved your Earth.
He jumps up and yells out, "Yeah!" That moment for me, since I was a kid and to this day, there's a rush that actually comes through me when I see that. And of course, the music of Queen kicking in, and it's all good.